Hello Aquarius, welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If this reading is reaching you, it was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. A Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is kind of an interesting card because we sometimes look at this card as, it is a toxic situation. It's sadness, it's depression, it's overindulgence, it is negative energy, it's a swamp, it's a quicksand, right? But what this card really shows, because of its association with the number 7, this shows the confidence. This shows that there is a force in you, that there is a spirit in you that knows that it will triumph over these circumstances. And that's the part of this card that we really need to focus on. It's kind of saying, like, look, half of the battle is recognizing what we're up against. The other half is having the courage to face it and to overcome it. So with this card, usually with the Seven of Cups, there's a lot of these sort of glamorous things that we're looking at. They're illusions. But this card shows us what it actually looks like, right? That if we can't recognize the toxic elements in our life, then we're powerless to change that. If we can't recognize that we're unhappy or why we're unhappy, then we can never change that. So the first step is admitting there's a problem, right? So I like this card. I think this card, as a card of your character, it shows that you're not shying away from your problems. You're not trying to ignore them. You don't live with your head in the sand. That you're facing your problems and you can see them for what they are. You can see toxic energy coming from a mile away. And now I think we've got to see what those elements are in our lives now that we need to change. And let's change them. I think we got to get off this train. Okay, let's put this card into some context. There's the strength. There's the confidence that we can overcome, right? A 9 of Wands, well, that's gonna trump a 7 of Cups every time. It's the sheer willpower to overcome these toxic energies. Once we recognize them and see what they are, it's like, okay, I see you, 7 of Cups. You can't hide from me. And now we can make changes. Now we can overcome. Because you have that strength. You have the power in you, right? To get off of this cycle. And get off of this train onto a better one. Yeah, let's keep going here. 5 of Wands. Yeah, we're cranking up the heat. Prince of Wands. The 5 of Cups. That's okay. 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups. We're changing things around. 4 of Wands. Very good. Look at this fire energy. Look at all this fire energy. This is reinforcing. This is confidence. This is strength. This is self-control. You have strength and power, and you know how to wield it to fight against the circumstances in your life that you need to change. And of course, the 4 of Wands is talking about that karmic cycle. I think we're getting off of this cycle, getting off of this train, and I bet you we're going to get on a better one. And even the 5 of Cups is very good energy, because if the 7 of Cups is that card of stagnation, depression, sinking down, quicksand, right? The swamp, kind of, we're stuck, feeling of being stuck, right? Then the 5 of Cups is a flow. it's at least there's some sort of current going on. There's something. We're getting mad. We're getting busy. You know, things are moving at least. Okay. And when you're in a Seven of Cups, when you're in that sort of stagnation, any kind of movement is good movement, because we're sort of loosening up the bonds that are holding us down. Now, Aquarius, if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments. Now, I'll do the rest of our cards on the table. Look at that, Six of Cups. Oh, yeah, the eon, judgment, rebirth, reawakening, a baptism by fire. All this fire here is you're leveling up your life. This is a doorway. This is a doorway to a new future. This new cycle is going to make you really, really happy. That's up to you. Got the Eight of Cups, Nine of Swords. We've got to get through this doorway. If we don't, if we hesitate, if we don't believe that it's possible, if we are losing hope, if we feel helpless, then we're continuing this injury. Okay? I think it's very important that we have that Nine of Swords, because you have to realize how injurious this Seven of Cups really is to you. And the longer we linger here, the more difficult it's going to be to get out of this. We have a Nine of Wands and a Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is despair. Okay, this is the feeling that I cannot do anything. We're lamenting our head in our hands. It's hopeless and helpless. It is a very desperate situation, and we feel that there's no way out. Right? Of course, the Nine of Wands is the opposite of that. The Nine of Wands is saying I can. This is saying I can't. And this is saying I can, I will, and look, here I am. Watch me go. You're getting the heck out of here. Because of how much you love yourself, you're going through this doorway never to look back, never to return to that Seven of Cups. And to me, that feels powerful. To me, this feels like a very, very happy day, right? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We'll set it down right here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. Let's look around the room. He's got one major arcana energy, the Eon. It's a new era. This is a fiery doorway. It is not an easy doorway to go through, but on the other side of that is your happy life. You are dipping out of this, timeline. This is the exit on the freeway. It's a one-way street. You're getting off. You're exiting this thing. This is a doorway that takes a conscious, intentional, willed effort to go through. It is not very easy. It's going to require that you leave a lot of BS behind you. Well, that sounds like a pretty good prerequisite, right? On the other side of this doorway is your future. I'm curious about that mystery card, but I like that we have this Six of Cups here. Because you're approaching this doorway with love, with connection, with support, with self-love, with a sense of harmony, with tranquility and hope in your heart. But if you don't go through that doorway, we get an 8 and a 9. 7, 8, 9. You know how things are going to progress. If you don't make a change now, today, in this situation, in this relationship, in this environment, whatever this is, if you do not make that change, then we're going 7, 8, 9. It's a very obvious sort of linear progression here. You can see how things play out, right? Because you have that ability to recognize the situation you're in. You know that you can change your situation. And you know that if you don't, 7, 8, 9. So I feel as if you are intervening in your own life. Okay, we have this major arcana energy, which is a baptism by fire. Of course, we have fire, 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 fire. And we've got water, 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 water. And a little bit of air at the end. The air at the end is really, that's where we do not want to get. The way the energy is now, it's trending toward a 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is when we just are completely laid low, flat, empty, nothing. It's total despair, total desolation. We don't want to get here. This is the outcome we don't want. So we realize that if we take away all this fire energy, right? Let's say these were our cards. Say, okay, well, this situation is going from bad to worse. And whatever sort of, whatever love or hope you have in your heart, 5, 6, okay, 7, 8, 9. This is it. This is something we need an intervention here. Something needs to change. So we've got fire energy. We've got your own will, right? We've got your own will coming into it. And you're saying, okay, I'm changing things. I'm invoking this fire to get the heck out of this. This is a river that's flowing in a pretty bad way. And whatever 6 of Cups is in your life is going to be completely gone if we don't do something about it. And that 9 of Swords, it's the only air card we have, right? And it's a pretty bad one. It's sort of that, it's almost like with this card we've given up on ourselves. See, even with the 8 of Cups, there's still a little bit of hope left. Not much. It's draining fast. But then we get, then the 9, that's it. There's almost no turning back from a 9. It's a descent into chaos. So instead of going down this river, you're taking this exit. You're changing your life. You're going through this door where you're making a big decision that's going to really change your life. And our 9, our 9 of Wands is your confidence, your strength, your willpower. You know how strong you are. You know what you're capable of in life. And this is a good foundation. We need to say, okay, I believe in myself, which is, of course, the polar opposite of a 9 of Swords. It says, I don't believe in anything. This is, I believe in myself. I know what I'm capable of. I can see the toxic energy around me, and I know that something needs to be done, and I know that I can do it. Okay, good. Now we got to do it, right? So now we need our 5 of Wands. Now we've got to set the will in motion. Now we've got to start struggling against the current. We're swimming the opposite way here. And it takes energy, right? The 5 of Wands is a card of conflict, of fighting, of strife, of wrestling with something. Well, yeah, because we're not a log on the river that's just going down 7, 8, 9. That's it. See you later. No, you've woken up, and now you're starting to paddle the other way. You're starting to go across the river to get to the shore. You've got to recognize, once you recognize that there's a problem, then we have to start doing the work to solve the problem. We got to start moving our feet in an intentional direction. Okay? And so this is a card of, yeah, fighting. We're fighting against this flow where we can see this really nasty waterfall at the end. We're about to go over the falls here. And we wake up, we see that, we say, holy you know what? and we start scrambling. We invoke our energy. We get control of our forces. We're not panicking. We're not screaming, pulling my hair out. I wouldn't do that. It took me a long time to grow this hair. We try to stay control. The Five of Wands is about our self-control. It's about us controlling our energy. You ever see somebody fight and they're just flapping their arms around, frantic, right? That's not control, right? That's out of control. By controlling our energy, controlling our fight, our strength. This is Saturn, right, in Leo. A lot of Leo energy. We got the Prince of Wands back here as a Leo energy. With the Saturn in Leo here, it's about control. It's about restricting that fire, not letting it go out of control. Disciplining it, restraining it. The greatest show of strength is not having to show your strength, you know. We don't have to make a display of it. It doesn't have to be just out of control, wild, you know. It needs to be disciplined, harnessed, right? Intentional. It's not just a bunch of lazy punches all over the place. No, it's one good punch with everything behind it. I'm not advocating violence. It's not literally punching. Let's say it's a wrestling match, or you're in jiu-jitsu or a martial art or something, right? You could just go berserk, you know, like boxing or something. Let's think of that. You could just go out there and just let them fly 1,000 miles an hour until you're exhausted and you didn't really land very many of those punches. Or you could be out there and you could be disciplined, you could be tight, and you could be in control of yourself, in control of your power. But anyway, we have to recognize that there's some sort of friction, some sort of conflict, and then we can enter into it and engage in a very controlled and disciplined way and get her done. Yeah. Now, the Prince of Wands in the background here. This is, I think, an indication that this is a situation that's been going on for quite a while. And it's sort of an indication, too, that the same old is not going to work anymore. Okay? That we do need to fight. We do need to wrestle with something. We need to get off this karmic cycle. You realize, you wake up one morning, you realize you're on a runaway train. You realize that you wake up in a canoe that's about to go over the falls. Okay, well, it's time to get sort of active, you know? It's kind of like there's no point in really looking at the past and thinking, oh, wow, I can't believe that I've been asleep for this long and now I'm right at the edge of the falls and, oh, man, I'm going to get screwed. Well, that's a little bit of waste of time there by getting involved in that sort of thinking. We don't see a lot of thinking here, do we? We see fire going against this water. Yeah. I think the Prince of Wands also in the background is talking about remembering times in your life where you were really strong. Do you remember times where you had to really kick things into high gear and really, really push hard for something and succeed? Do you remember when you were in sort of your best, most consistent, powerful energy? This may be a time in your life where you sort of felt like, wow, that was really like I was in the zone. I was in the prime of my life back then. You know, I think back when I was in my, let's say, early 30s, and it's like, or, you know, 20s, mid-20s, like, man, I was in shape. I was athletic. Like, man, I was my fighting weight. I was in the best shape of my life, right? Well, we could remember that, and we can use that to remind ourselves that, hey, I got there once, I can get there again. It might take me a little bit longer. It might take a little bit more effort, more work, more time, but I can do it. If something happened once, it can happen again. That's the thing about the universe. It only needs to happen one time, and then it's infinite. Then it is eternal. Something happens once, That's it. It's opened the door for it to happen a bazillion more times. Yeah. And so we realize this is kind of how we recognize our strength in this situation. Now we say, hey, you know what? I did it once. I do it again. It may be that you've been right here in that Seven of Cups situation before. Maybe this time you've woken up a little bit earlier and you're thinking, okay, I know what to do. I've been here before. I recognize this. I see the signs. I see the red flags. I can hear the roar of the waterfall, around the next bend. I got this. So then we apply our effort to start paddling the water and going against the current, and we're making a change. We're moving the water in a different direction. For us in that moment, The Five of Cups is about trying not to identify with the emotions. Trying to just understand that they come like waves, like currents, and then they go. So in other words, trying to be a little bit stoic. Anytime we get a 5, we start looking around for the 4. It's kind of like we're in this really turbulent, we're rocking the boat here. We're looking for stability. And that's what we want. We want stability. Anytime we get a 5, we start looking for the 4. So I think in a way, the 5 is us trying not to identify with the fluctuating emotions. This situation is a 7 of Cups. Some days, it may really be very pleasurable. It may feel good to you physically, mentally, or emotionally. It may be satisfying one or other desires. That doesn't mean it's not still a 7 of Cups. It just means some days it has that glamorous look to it. And other days you realize that this is not a pleasant thing. And it really is beyond the waves of pleasure and pain, of pleasant and unpleasant. We don't want to identify with either. We want to sort of have as much of an objective look as we can to say objectively, this situation is not good for me. Even if some days it feels good, some days it feels bad, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what this fluctuation, this up and down roller coaster is, because we can see this situation for what it really is. And yeah, sometimes the 7 of Cups feels good. It feels good for a moment. But we don't want to think the other way around, that, just because something feels bad, then it must be toxic. No. Not everything that feels bad is bad for you. And that's why the 5 of Cups is really up there, because we're trying to just not identify with the fluctuating emotions. We're trying to stay really firm in what we know this situation to be, and not get swept away by these other little side currents of pleasure and pain. No, we know that this river is going to a waterfall. Maybe some parts of it are nice, gentle part of the stream. Birds are chirping, the sun is out. Oh, hey, wait, maybe this is good. Other parts of it are going to be really the rapids, and it is what it is. It doesn't change the fact that the entire river is going over the falls. Okay. The 4 of Wands in the future position is the ending of a cycle, closure, completing this phase of your life, doing what you need to do energetically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. There's not a lot of earth cards here. In fact, there's really not a single one. So it's important that we reconnect with our bodies here. It's important that we reconnect with the earth element. And I like the 4 because it does connect us with the earth element, because it is a number 4, right? So it represents this idea of, the solidification of something. So I kind of feel like this is, let's really understand what we need to do in a very practical way to get done with this cycle of energy so that we can move on. What are those loose ends that need to be tied up? What are the things, who do you got to call? What paperwork do you have to fill out? right? What boxes do you have to move? Like literal practical things to get out of this cycle, okay? To get out of this situation and to get to this better future. I think that the new cycle is going to make you very, very happy. We have to be done with this old cycle. So this is in a very practical way. What do you need to literally do to go through this doorway? It's sort of like literally make a checklist, start checking those things off your list. Okay? Close up that cycle, close up those loose ends. This is also a card that reminds us, too, that everything is temporary. That in this Seven of Cups situation, sometimes we feel like we're stuck. Sometimes we feel like this is everything. This is life. This is forever. No, this card reminds us of the impermanence of any particular situation. Reminds us really of the impermanence of both the fight, that we don't want to fight. It's easier to just give in. It's easier to just acquiesce and say, fine, I'm just going to go wherever this river's taking me. Because, yeah, we don't want to put in all this effort and work, but we realize that, okay, it's temporary. You got to fight, but it's not forever. We realize that this is going to be a roller coaster of emotions. Yeah, but that's temporary too. Okay? What is not temporary is how you feel about yourself. This is the Six of Cups. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's free, supports the channel, and I appreciate that. The Six of Cups is a card of community. It's a card of communication and unity. It's really about self-love, self-honesty, and feeling it as if we are worthwhile. Feeling as if I'm here for a reason, and I deserve to be here. I deserve love. I deserve joy. I deserve connections. Right? This is that perfect harmonious state, tranquility, love. We feel loved. We love ourselves. We love other people. It's a peak experience. Right? This is the happiest you've ever been, And in some ways, this is kind of like we're on this canoe, and we're sort of looking up, we're daydreaming, and we're thinking, you know what? I love myself. I love the world. I love my people. I love my friends, my family. I love my community. I love the universe. I love everything. And I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be part of the universe. I deserve, wait a minute, I'm on the freaking river. We got to kind of get out of that reverie. But I think we need to at least have this experience. We need to realize and acknowledge to ourselves that we deserve love and happiness. And it's kind of like when we love ourselves again, that it's like, I got to get the heck off this river. I don't want to go over the falls, So in some ways, I feel like it is your self-love and even the hope that we're going to have a happy life, that we can get on a new cycle that is beautiful. Okay, and now we got to start fighting. We got to start working towards it. We linger too long in this reverie, and we go right over the falls with a smile on our face, So we've got to love ourselves. We've got to acknowledge that we are deserving of love and beauty and bliss and happiness and all of this stuff. And it is with this smile that we're going through this doorway. This is that fiery doorway of change. It's an intentional thing. You do this, you go through the door, you shut the door, you don't look back. It's in your rear view mirror and it stays there. It's a definite step in the right direction. You're getting off of that train. You're getting out of this. You're getting off of this merry-go-round, because this is a cycle. This is a cycle that you don't want to be on anymore. And it was only meant to be temporary. Of course, we got the 8 and the 9. The 8 being that time is running out, that hope is running out, that the longer we linger here, the more we feel stuck and the more difficult it is for us to believe that there's something better for us. The longer we stay here, the more it kind of eats away at us, and we just end up kind of giving in. And I don't want to talk too much about these cards. We did already. You know what they are. The Eight of Cups is that loss of hope that we do not want. The Nine of Swords is that utter despair and desolation. We go over the falls and there's no coming back. Okay? We know how this situation will end. We know what the progression is of this. We've got to make a change right now. Let's look at our mystery card. I would really love Empress. I would really love 9 or a 10 of Pentacles. But I don't know. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is this bigger picture. I like that. The Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords kind of saying, I deserve love, and I've got my clarity here, and there's nothing going to stop me. You're armed with your clarity of mind, and you're saying, nothing's going to stop me, nothing's going to get in my way. Oh, just you try it, you know? Because you've got that certainty in your heart, you've got that love inside of you, that's self-love. A radical self-love. It says, nothing's going to stop me. This is also a card of clarity and kind of a higher perspective, getting that kind of larger vantage point, seeing your life in the bigger picture, seeing the whole, right? And realizing that these particular temporary situations that we're in, your current situation, no matter how long it's been, is temporary. And it's not everything that there is. You stand back, you get a vision of the whole thing. And you can see that, yeah, the sooner I get out of this, the sooner I can get to really living and really loving. Yeah. So in a way, this is also some of that objectivity. We rise above the tumultuous current, and we're able to see what it really is. We're able to see, not to minimize the situation, but we're able to see, like, look, I can get to the shore. I can get off this river. It's not that big a deal. I can do it, right? In the larger context of your life, this is a very necessary step. It's very important to put all your energy into this and concentrate and focus and get it done. Okay, so we can get on to those better things. Queen of Swords, water and air. Clarity of mind, purity of heart, ready for the future, ready for what comes next. Ready to help create what comes next, based on coming from, born out of, self-love and clarity. Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there is a link up in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Aquarius, Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. And leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.